Hello everyone, I apologize for the level of wind noise and other overhead airplanes. It's very, very hot here in Chicago, so I've come out on my back deck where there's a breeze because sitting inside making video is kind of like making a video in a sauna right now. I wanted to make this as a response to Michael from REDchairDIARIES, who was talking about Prometheus in a recent video of his, and I made a video recently on Prometheus in which I was encouraging people to go and to not see it in IMAX, and I got a lot of comments on that. I really appreciate all the people who commented on that video. I've gotten more comments on that video than I have in probably any video I've made in several months. And the link to that is below, but if the gist of it basically is that in the IMAX version of Prometheus, they've actually cut off the sides in order to make the wide image fit the more square IMAX screen. And so I'd say, don't see it in that format, see it in something that's a regular theater, because you get the entire image. That's how I prefer it anyway. So Michael was talking about his experience seeing Prometheus, and of course going back and seeing Alien when it first opened in 1979. He's got a lot of cinema-going experience to draw upon, which is great. It's great to hear about him going to see the film, in the theater for the first time. And it must have been nice to not know about, the chest burster and all kinds of other stuff that happened in the movie well before seeing it, which is what happened with me. I like the first Alien film. I really like the second film, directed by James Cameron. So I had high expectations for Ridley Scott, but Ridley Scott has disappointed me quite frequently. A lot of people prefer him to his brother Tony Scott, and Tony Scott's made some bad movies too, but I actually prefer Tony to Ridley because I feel Tony's a little bit more consistent. Whereas Ridley made some really terrific movies and a lot of movies I didn't like very much at all. Now, this one unfortunately falls in the latter category. The last Scott movie that I really enjoyed was Matchstick Men, which is sort of an out-of-character film for him. But this was basically going to be him going back and starting the whole world of Alien and that sort of mythology from a different perspective, talking about the origins of the creatures, I suppose. When I walked out of the movie, I had a lot more questions left. First of all, when I saw the teaser, I thought this is definitely a prequel to Alien, because they've got the horseshoe-shaped ship in the trailer, crashing and being like standing upright basically on the planet, just like sitting there, with its tails basically pointed skyward, much like how you see the ship when the characters from Alien and Aliens discovered on the planet LV-426. Of course, Prometheus doesn't take place on that planet; it takes place on a different planet, and that's fairly evident when they, explore around and they look at sort of the laboratories that have been constructed by the engineers, as they call them, the people that left the cave paintings on Earth, and possibly could have been those that left organic matter on Earth to grow into human beings. The movie is very good looking, of course, and had lots of really good special effects. I didn't see it in 3D, but I imagine those wireframe models, the wireframe diagrams that are holographic that they look at throughout the movie look really great in 3D. But the movie looked, just fine in 2D, really just fine. Here's the problems that I have with the movie. First of all, some of the acting is really bad actually. The four leads are Noomi Rapace, Charlize Theron, Idris Elba, and of course Michael Fassbender as the android David. They're all good. Everyone else is not so good. And one of the issues that Michael from REDchairDIARIES raised is Guy Pearce is playing Peter Weyland as like a 90-year-old person, a 100-year-old man. Why couldn't they just cast an older actor to play that part? And the reason for that is because he shot some scenes as Peter Weyland as a younger man. In fact, there's this video that's on YouTube right now, and I'll link to that as well. It's called 2023, right. It takes place, about 70 years before Prometheus, in which he is the CEO of the Weyland Corporation, I guess, and he's addressing a large audience in an auditorium. Really, really great monologue from Guy Pearce, but it's not in the film. It's just basically footage of him playing him as a young guy, talking a little bit about some of the themes that will come into play in Prometheus, or at least some of the story elements. And there's also another, I guess there's a little bit of footage of the young Peter Weyland at the end of Prometheus, after the credits, which I saw online, and he really isn't doing anything. He's just like standing there psyching himself up for his big speech, I think. But they don't include the speech in the movie, which is too bad, because I would have preferred that, you know, to most of what was in the film itself. A couple of good scenes involved them just sort of looking around the area, just looking at what there is to see in the new planet they're exploring. And there's a scene where Noomi Rapace's character, who by the way is named Elizabeth, kind of like in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Her name is Lisbeth in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo in the Swedish version. And in this one she's Elizabeth. She realizes that she's got something inside her that could possibly be dangerous to her. So she climbs into a automated surgery machine that they have on the ship. That's a really, really intense scene. Really exciting. So I like that, and I like the cinematography and the effects, but I didn't like the acting so much, and a lot of the characters behaved really stupidly, especially when it came time to meeting the actual creatures for the first time and dealing with them. It seemed just really idiotic. Some of it was exciting. You know, the teaser for this movie was really successful in making me anxious and creep me out, particularly when they have audio of a guy going, "Cut it off! Oh God, cut it off, please!" And you don't actually see what's happening. You're looking at something else, so you figure that's got to be, you know, serious. But the movie really didn't pay off for me, particularly when it came to the David character, the android, and why it is that he does some of the stuff that he does. Now, if there's another movie that takes place after Prometheus that leads more directly into Alien, there might be some explanations for his behavior. But there's a difference between having unanswered questions that like leave you hanging when it comes to, you know, telling a story, and having unanswered questions that really don't make a difference, or it's better to wonder about those kinds of things. I've recently started compiling a list of movies that have an ending whereby things could go one of two ways, and the movie ends before you realize it. For example, Your Sister's Sister, which is an indie movie that just came out, has an ending like that. Solitary Man with Michael Douglas has an ending like that. The Iranian film of Separation has an ending like that. You know, and there's sort of this question where a character makes a choice or discovers something. I'm sorry, it's a garbage truck. And you're left sort of wondering what could happen next. Whereas with Prometheus, you're left wondering what did happen or why. Why did David do the stuff that he did? There really isn't a lot of explanation for it, and although some explanations have been offered, I think it's up to the people who made the film to kind of fill us in on that, and not have us, you know, go through endless numbers of websites or something like that for clues. You know, the movie should be a self-contained story. It should function on its own, like how the Harry Potter movies aren't, most of them. You know, Harry Potter movies, especially the last one, had a bunch of stuff happen in it that there was just no explanation for, because they couldn't fit it all into the movie, so that was disappointing for me. Where was I going with that? Anyway, yeah, the character of David does some stuff, and you just don't understand why. You could wonder about it, but ultimately I think it's more the filmmaker's responsibility to kind of fill in on that a little bit better. And so I found the movie unsatisfying overall and wouldn't recommend it. I would, however, recommend a couple of videos if you've seen the movie that are really, really entertaining. One is by Stuckmann, who is one of the more popular guys here on YouTube. He did a 20-minute long video detailing pretty much everything that happens in Prometheus and everything everybody does, and explains to the best of his ability his reasons for why that's happening. Here's the funny part. The video was posted actually like 3 days after the movie came out, but at that point he'd already seen it like 6 times, which is crazy. But it's a very, very informative video. If you've already seen the movie and don't care about spoilers, then go ahead and watch that. I would recommend it. The other one is by Red Letter Media. That's the website that does the Mr. Plinkett movie reviews, those epic Star Wars bash-ups, where he basically rips them apart, you know, for like an hour and a half. They're great. He did a short video in which he doesn't play Mr. Plinkett. He appears on camera and just basically asks a bunch of questions about Prometheus. And some of the questions that he asks don't necessarily need answers. They're pretty much rhetorical. They're pointing out a bunch of stupid stuff that happens, and they're very funny. All of his videos are really, really funny when he just takes the piss out of whatever he's talking about. Anyway, overall, Prometheus, good-looking movie. Not so good overall as far as script and as far as story resolution and what have you. So I wouldn't recommend it. Anyway, that is my little take on Prometheus there. Again, it's more of a response to Michael from REDchairDIARIES in terms of that one particular question that he had. But I wanted to encourage everybody to check out his channel if you haven't already, because he's got a lot of interesting stuff to say about the films VCs. So the link to that is below. All the links are below. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon. Oh, one more thing. Stathis Quaid, I will be making that video for you. Promise. It's coming soon. Later.